I thank the representative of Brazil for their statement. I give the floor to the representative of France.
Je vous remercie.
I thank you, Madam President. I would also like to thank the representative of OSHA for her briefing. I also welcome the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Armenia today. I would like to highlight 3 points. Firstly, the restrictions and total blockage of traffic on the corridor linking Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh for more than 8 months are now causing a humanitarian crisis. The persistent blockage of the Lachin corridor by Azerbaijan continues to isolate the population of Nagorno-Karabakh from the rest of the world, with no legitimate reason to justify such a situation, which runs counter to the principles of international humanitarian law. This situation, combined with the interruptions to the supply of gas and electricity, the drying up of water resources, the difficulties encountered by the population in gaining access to seeds, the shortage of fuel, which is hampering agricultural work, is now degenerating into a humanitarian crisis. The risk of famine, of widespread shortages, including of medicines, is imminent. France deplores the blocking of the humanitarian aid convoy dispatched last July by the Armenian authorities in an attempt to remedy this tragic situation. The restrictions and obstacles imposed on the activities of the ICRC and other humanitarian actors in violation of international law are not acceptable. In view of the gravity of the humanitarian situation, France calls for the unconditional and immediate restoration of the free movement of goods, people and merchandise along the Lachin corridor in both directions, and for a continuous supply of gas and electricity to the population. Since our last public meeting, the International Court of Justice issued an order on the February the 22nd, 2023. The order indicated provisional measures which are binding and which require Azerbaijan, in accordance with its obligations under the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, to take all measures at its disposal to ensure the unimpeded movement of persons, vehicles and goods along the Lachin corridor in both directions. In its order of July 6, 2023, noting the precarity of the situation between the parties, the Court confirmed the need for effective implementation of the measures indicated in its order of February 22, 2023. As the Secretary-General did on August 2nd, France once again calls on Azerbaijan to abide by its international obligations and to implement the measures indicated by the ICJ. In light of the gravity of the situation, France welcomes the action of the ICRC on the ground, to which it will reinforce its support. France calls for the immediate, free and unhindered access for humanitarian organizations and UN agencies to the populations concerned and for the reopening of the Lachin corridor. Madam President, France remains fully committed to promoting a lasting and just peace in the region. To this end, France calls for a resumption of negotiations aimed at resolving all outstanding issues, including the rights and guarantees of the population of Nagorno-Karabakh. Such a settlement can only be achieved through dialogue, excluding any use of force or the threat of the use of force. Alongside the European Union, France will continue to contribute to efforts to promote dialogue between Armenia and Azerbaijan. It fully supports and participates in the mediation efforts led by the EU to promote a process of normalization. We will support the search for progress on all subjects under negotiation, including the draft peace treaty, border demarcation, humanitarian issues, and the opening up of communication routes. France stands ready to contribute to these objectives in liaison with all parties and stakeholders. Thank you very much.